record number 25 million young people are living at home with their parents. And a lot of people are giving them backlash for this, but I disagree with it because the economy is so harsh right now. Honestly, if you have to live at home with your parents for an extended amount of time, you should not feel bad for it because let's be real, you should be thankful your parents even have a home for you to live there with them in this type of economy. So if it takes a little bit longer for you to develop yourself and feel comfortable building up your pathway to sustainable housing, make sure you don't feel pressured by the invisible crowd, because most of the time people that are judging you are just really judging their own character, and all of that distortion between them judging you, it doesn't really matter. Do what's best for you. Don't try and keep up with the Joneses, and never feel bad about what you have to do to get to the next level. And at the end of the day, when you live with your family, it's actually building more unity. And honestly, here's the secret, guys. Outside of America, it's completely normal for people to live with their family, especially in somewhere like Japan, which I was recently, where people could live with their family up to the age of 35 years old, because everywhere else outside of America gets it. What do I mean by gets it? They get that life gets hard, it gets challenging, and you need people to lean on in order to go forward. I'll give you one more record number. A record number of young people aren't drinking alcohol right now in the USA. So it's not like you guys are wasting your time. It's just that you're starting to think more strategic, and you're starting to understand real eyes, real eyes, real lies. If you don't agree with me, make sure you leave a comment and let me know why. And if you do, as usual, make sure you like, share, and repost. Thanks for watching. Peace.
All right, y'all, we just got some of the worst consumer numbers of all time, and we're still only in the early innings here. Credit card delinquency just came in at 13.1%, which is just under the all-time high of 13.7%. But the rate at which it's rising this time is the fastest rate ever, and it's still going up. And at the same time, we just got consumer sentiment numbers at all-time lows. These are the lowest levels we've ever seen in history, and I think this has been tracked since like 1957. So the consumer is in worse shape than ever. And I gotta say, this is a clear sign that the credit bubble's about to pop. And that's the main issue here, is that this is a bubble, okay? I explained before that the delinquency numbers and consumer sentiment numbers aren't a real accurate read of the state of the consumer economy. The numbers today are actually suppressed because of the way people are actually using credit these days. You know, they're passing it back and forth between different cards, and they're also using BNPL for this kind of stuff. And that's what I mean by a credit bubble. Like, you're just passing it back and forth and just pushing off the issue while the credit problem just rises and rises.
Yo, what's up, YouTube? So today in this video, we're going to be basically talking about why cost of living is so damn high, bro. All these TikToks are going to be like people complaining about how expensive like groceries are, how expensive it is just to survive, rent, yada, 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 or whatever else I chose to put in here. So let's just get into the video. Hope you guys enjoy. Let's go.
What's up, America? 60% of Americans are now having trouble affording groceries for themselves or their families. And the average cost of eating at home has increased 33% in the last 2 years, up anywhere between 30% and 100% in the last 5.5 years. And eating out at restaurants costs an average of 50% more than it did just 3 or 4 years ago. Prices are going up to the point where people are really starting to struggle. The use of coupons is coming back heavily, but basically people are stating that they're just buying what's on sale. At this point, they're not caring about name brand or store brands. They're caring about just what's on sale that they can purchase. And then they bring it home and eat it because it's all they can afford. The cheapest that you can possibly buy. Now, that's what's happening for approximately 60% of the United States. And the prices, no matter where you're at, even if you shop at Aldi, are going up through the roof. There is no end to this in sight. Now, one of the major campaign promises was getting the cost of living down here in the United States on day one, if everybody remembers that. I remember it. Pepperidge Farms fucking remembers it. Day one, we're going to start working on getting prices lower. Remember that? I fucking remember that. So if you account for Joe Biden's price increases and then what we're dealing with now, we're basically in 5.5 years of absolute suffering with price gouging. Because yes, prices have gone up in some cases, but most of this, I would say probably 60 to 70% of the price increase is just stealing from you. It's gouging for profit. You have your fuel prices and your transport costs. That's all basically together. You have increasing costs of goods and services anyway, and then you have price gouging. I have a feeling if price gouging was made illegal and it was enforced, that all of a sudden prices would come down by 50% in a weekend, wouldn't they? Either way, this is becoming unsustainable for the American people and something needs to be done, but I bet you dollars to fucking donuts, not a thing will be done. It'll get worse and worse and you'll struggle and struggle until eventually the masses will vote in a socialist dystopian nightmare, initially making it slightly better, then crashing it even fucking worse. Yay, future!
Restaurants are always packed, so that must mean that everyone is doing fine, apparently. But are they? Because just because someone goes out to eat every once in a while doesn't mean that they can suddenly afford a house, and it doesn't necessarily mean that they're thriving. I think it just means that even when people are struggling, they still want and deserve to have moments that feel normal.
So you're telling me 60% of Americans are struggling to afford groceries, and we don't, or like, and those in power and shit, they don't see that as a problem or nothing. And also the fact that like people think there's no problems because like, you know, people think restaurants are packed and stuff like that, and even like concerts and everything like that. But even though that's the case, people want to maintain some life and they want to like portray themselves as not struggling. You know what I'm saying? So just because they're spending money, probably going into debt, buying new cars, like making worse financial decisions just to appear as if they are doing more well off. Like, that doesn't mean everyone's doing good, or even they're doing good, you know what I'm saying? They're not doing good because they're just, like, LARPing how good they're doing at the moment, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if you guys understand, but, like, a lot of people, they're like, oh, how can we be in a recession if people are buying new cars, people are buying new homes, people are renting, people are spending money going out there, people are getting drinks and stuff? It's like, it's either they're taking out, like, money from the bank and shit to do those things because they've, like, given up, you know what I'm saying? Or they're just irresponsible. Or they've just like, you know, completely given up. They're like, there's no point in saving money. Everything is so expensive. I'm never going to have enough. I might as well just enjoy my life right now. You know what I mean? That's the two mindsets that are happening right now. And I'm not saying everybody's struggling, but I'm saying that's an explanation for that. You know what I'm saying?
This does not bode well for Republicans during midterms. Grocery prices are up 33%. That is the highest price spike in over 50 years. And if you happen to be a person who buys groceries, you already know that. I personally switched grocery stores about a year ago because of this. I used to be able to go pretty regularly to Trader Joe's. Well, my bill at Trader Joe's has almost doubled. Trader Joe's used to be considered one of the more affordable options. Now I shop at Aldi. If there is one thing that reliably determines what is going to happen in the next election cycle, it's economics. End of story. If the Republicans cannot find a way to make life affordable for Americans, and I'm sorry to say this, there's no chance. It's too late. They did a bunch of weird bullshit, and that was their focus. And they also lied about it. Trump told us prior to electing him that he was going to focus on making life more affordable for Americans. He was going to focus on creating American jobs. He was going to stay out of foreign wars. And then he literally took a big stinky dump all over the country. We're in a never-ending war. The cost of living is through the motherfucking roof, and there are no jobs. I mean, we're looking down the barrel of a potential another 2008 financial crisis, also with the AI bubble. I mean, what else could be wrong? There's nothing more that could possibly go wrong economically. We're not even going to dig into the other stuff. I genuinely think that Republicans have no shot of winning midterms. I think their chance of winning midterms is if they pull something completely illegal. And I think you know what I'm referring to.
Think about it, this is the type of economy that you have more than one hustle in. You can no longer just have one job. You have to have multiple streams of income that work for you. Don't take up more time than they dish out money. Like, you gotta be in your bag out here to not just be able to live, but to live not even just comfortably, but to live well. Who wants to live comfortably? I feel like the people who used to think that they really just wanted to live comfortably, those are the people that are struggling to keep up now. Those are the people that realize there's no fun in working just to pay bills. Yeah, the bills get paid and you have nothing left. You're just as miserable as you would be if you didn't even have enough money to pay the bills. So it gets to a point where we stop pretending like fun isn't a part of life. To where we stop waking up every day acting like literally just put here to work, and chase something. Because if you continue to chase things all your life, you'll never catch it. You'll forever be chasing. You'll never become financially free. You'll never become financially stable. You'll never have money in your pocket. You'll never have any extra. You'll always be behind. You won't be able to catch up if you continue to chase. Law of attraction. If you become it, if you align yourself with it, it will chase you. You will attract it.
Everything is expensive. All of it, 100% of the things are expensive. You would think with our advancing technology that something would get easier to produce and therefore become less expensive. But nope, everything is expensive and continues to become more expensive forever. The only thing I can think of that has gotten cheaper is flat screen TVs. Not medicine, not insulin, flat screen TVs. It's like the world is ran by cartoon villains and we are all a part of some wacky plan.
Alright, so groceries are up 33%. That's crazy. 33%, that means, like, if you bought something for $10, it's now $13. That's absolutely insane. And everything's so expensive in the world right now, you know. Me as a teenager, like, I don't really need to experience that crazy, but I do experience that because I go out, you know what I'm saying? I'm a teenager, I go out. And also, I do agree with the girl saying that you do need multiple sources of income now. Like, if you really take a look at it, probably like numbers and stuff like that, most people are like door dashing on the side, maybe doing Instacart, like Walmart, Spark, like, or just working like a second job. You know what I mean? You can't live off of one full-time job that much anymore, unless you got like a crazy ass high paying job, which kudos to you, you know what I'm saying? You're doing great. But you know, you do need multiple sources of income for the most part. That's also like, you know, I'm trying to prepare for that too, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's just so expensive now and it sucks. But next videos.
Just like that again. It's time to pay rent again on Saturday. You see that? That's why I always tell people, take your time when you are trying to search for an apartment. When I tell you that the 30th, the 31st, 28th, 29th, the end of the month, beginning of the month comes so fast. You blink, it's time to pay rent again. And if you already, with your checks that you get in a month, can't even afford last month's rent, don't think you finna be able to get ahead, let alone be able to maintain paying rent at nobody's apartment complex. Base rent, yeah, that's the least of your worries. You need to literally find out, how much am I going to be paying in that portal? Or how much am I getting this cashier's check / money order for at the beginning of the month? What is the total dollar amount that I got to come out of pocket that I owe that leasing office? And that's how you'll know if you can afford to live somewhere. These apartment complexes have a base rent, and then the fees and taxes and all this other stuff added on is an additional $500. And then you wonder why you move in and you start to try to decorate a little bit. And what do you know? Your bank account is hollering. Your bank account, you done paid prorated rent. You done paid the first month's rent. Oh, well, now guess what? You can't even furnish the apartment, Cora. Did you show me your bracelet, Cora? WWJD. Get focused. Have a plan. Plan your work your plan. Do the numbers. If you cannot afford it, then maybe it's not for you.
We can't afford to live. You're not lazy. Show this to your parents when they say they don't believe you that you can't afford to live. The National Low Income Housing Coalition just published their Out of Reach report that shows you exactly how much you would need to make to afford an average 2-bedroom rental. Not even talk about homes, not talk about buying homes, affording a 2-bedroom rental home, how much you would need to make per hour. In 0 states in the United States of America, can you afford a 2-bedroom rental home on $725? If we take Puerto Rico out of the equation, which is not a U.S. state, it is a territory, 0 states, can you afford a 2-bedroom rental home on $725, $825, 925, 1025. The minimum amount of money that you would need to make in the cheapest cost of living state in the United States of America is in West Virginia at $19.23 an hour, meaning that you need to make damn near $20 an hour just to afford a 2-bedroom rental home. In 2026, California surpassed $50 an hour. $50 an hour. In 2025, none of the US states did you need to earn $50 an hour on average to afford a 2-bedroom rental home. California surpassed that in 2026. This is real-time data as of 2026, how much you need to make in every single state in the United States in order to afford a modest 2-bedroom rental home. You need to make at least $20 an hour. So when you make $17 an hour, $16 an hour, $15 an hour, $10 an hour, that is not enough to afford a 2-bedroom rental home, according to this data. If you go to nlihc.org, I'll put the link in the comments, nlihc.org/OOR, you can literally download this and send this to your parents. You can literally just download this for free and send it to your parents. This is real, accurate data done by researchers who put this report out every single year. And you can look back every single year and track this. So it's not you. It's not because you're not working hard. It's not because, we're just lazy, as Caroline Levitt likes to say. It's because the cost of living is out of reach. Affording a home is out of reach, according to this report. Additionally, some of the other data that they track is that they track 18 of the prominent 25 U.S. occupations in the U.S. All 18 occupations did not pay enough for you to afford a modest 2-bedroom rental home. 17 of the 18 did not pay enough to afford a 2-bedroom rental home. So of the 25 prominent occupations in the 18 that they tracked, none of them paid enough to afford a 2-bedroom rental home. And in 17 of them, they did not pay enough to afford a 1-bedroom rental home. Just think about that. In most of the occupations, and this affects 20% of the population, about 74 million people, cannot afford, based on their occupation, basically a 1 to 2-bedroom rental home. When we talk about the housing crisis, this is what we're talking about. We're not talking about we can't afford a 5-bedroom home. We can't afford rentals. It's not us, it's them.
So tying back to the first TikToks, right? People are living with their parents still because it's so expensive. You can't move out. Apartments are so expensive. Homes are so expensive, and you don't make enough money to afford groceries, rent, nothing like that. And it's just not a smart financial decision, to be honest, if you really wanted to move out, you know what I mean? And that kind of sucks for people my age and even people maybe 10 years older than me, because moving out before, that was seen as the first step into adulthood and you have independence and everything like that. But nowadays, moving out, that's not even a smart financial decision because of how expensive and how bad the economy is right now. So then you stay home, save money. Whether you stay home to save money or you stay home because you cannot, even if your life depended on it, you could not afford to live alone, you know what I mean? That's some people's situation, and that really sucks. That's you delaying milestones for the future purely because you can't afford it, you know what I mean? That sucks, I'm not gonna lie.
And I'm finna just cancel all my memberships. No more Netflix, Hulu, no more nothing. Fuck it, I'ma just watch The Wall. No more Apple Music. I'ma just listen to myself talk. No more gym. I'ma just do push-ups, sit-ups, and squats on the goddamn floor, bro. Bro, shit getting hot as hell. I got a notification yesterday in my email from Apple saying that they increased my Apple Music bill $12 a month. But that shit used to be $9 a month, gang. I can't keep doing this no more. I look up, Apple done took some money out of my account.
a price increase on some. Went to go get some hibachi yesterday. Nigga, they put on the intercom that they increased their prices. On my soul. Same shit I used to get for $10.96, $15 now. I can't, fuck no. I'm not even finna eat food no more. I'm finna just start eating the skin off my body.
What's up, America? The cost of living in America is so high that people have basically stopped spending. So let me explain what I mean. So the cost of living here in the United States has gotten so high that people have virtually quit spending money on everything except necessity. Basically, your house, whether that be mortgage or rent, your car payment, gasoline, food, and clothing. Outside of that, according to new research, about 85% of Americans have simply stopped buying items. And so what you're seeing right now is the beginning of a horrifying process that, if it's allowed to continue, will destroy the economics of the entire nation. What we're seeing is fewer and fewer people buying items and stuff here in the United States, while the cost of those items continue to increase. So fewer people are purchasing, but companies are increasing the prices more to compensate for fewer people buying shit. Now, the reason that's happening is because these companies have speculations on how much profit they should be making, and nothing will get in the way of the shareholders and their profits. So as fewer and fewer people purchase items in the United States, the cost will incrementally start to go up because these companies are compensating for potential lost profit, to the point where eventually everybody under the wealthy class will be priced out of purchasing anything in your own nation. Much like what happened in Venezuela, but a slow-moving catastrophe here in the United States. On top of that, a lot of people were talking about a tech bubble bursting. We're also getting word that the very wealthy want to continue to pump more money into a bubble that's supposed to burst, trying to stop the bubble from bursting. And so as of right now, here in the United States, our economic system for basically 75% of the population is totally fucked. And if this continues, only the very wealthy will be able to afford anything at all outside of your basic necessities, which in my opinion was the exact reason they're doing this in the first place. In my opinion, they're trying to consolidate every resource into the top 1% or fewer, so that they can control the masses by holding all the resources in the entire nation. Because that's what it looks like to me, because that's what's fucking happening.
Alright, so basically to sum it up, like everywhere online you see people being broke and stuff like that, how they can't afford life. And to be honest, it's true, and I hope this brings awareness to it, you know what I mean? Because I'm in high school, so technically like I don't really get to experience it's crazy. But like my whole life and other people's whole life, they're told like hard work, school, everything like that. If you just lock in and be responsible, it'll all pay off, you know, get stability and stuff like that. But nowadays, you look at people who have full-time jobs and they're still struggling living like paycheck to paycheck, or they're having to take out loans to buy groceries and stuff like that, you know what I mean? And it just makes you wonder like what the future of your life is going to look like if people right now who did everything correctly are still struggling, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of people will like dumb it down to like, oh, those people can't handle money, yada yada yada. But you gotta realize in normal life, there's not enough, like for a lot of people, there's not enough money left over to even manage the money. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not saying being financially responsible is not important. That's very important. But when your whole paycheck is gone and there's no money to even manage after, then it's like, what do you even do at that point? You know what I mean? And just and that's what happens when you move out early for a lot of people. That's why a lot of people are staying home recently, you know what I'm saying? And the other ones. And I feel like a lot of older people, not to like disrespect you guys or nothing like that, because you guys also had your own hardships, but it's just like, it's very much different right now. So when you get advice from like older people, they say it from their own perspective, like of their youth, you know what I'm saying? So they can't really comprehend what's going on right now in the world. And it's hard to describe to them, I guess. But, and you also notice it in like credit card usage nowadays. Way more credit card usage, you know what I'm saying, because people don't have enough money, you know what I mean? You gotta have borrowed money, you spend the money, you paycheck, pay it off, but then you get caught in like a little loop and then you're just like screwed, you know what I'm saying? And it's also like, and because of how no one can afford anything, work has become people's lives, you know what I'm saying? You just live to work. Like you don't make enough money to like do anything. You gotta keep working, you keep working, you rest, work. The work pays for like your house or like your food and stuff like that, and your food just fuels you to work again. And going out to do anything is so expensive. Like obviously you can go like play basketball, you can go like play soccer or something, but like if you want to do like certain activities, you want to go on you want to go on a trip, a vacation, hang out with friends, go to dinner, go on a date or something, it's like you can't do that, you know what I mean? And I think like right, like it just sucks. Like you don't even get to enjoy your life, to be honest. But I think that's why a lot of these conversations are coming up online, because it just people are losing faith like entirely, like because it's so bad right now, and it's only gonna get worse. You know what I mean? And then even when you're like talking to people, they're like, "Oh, welcome to real life." You know what I'm saying? But it's just like you can't be optimistic when there's nothing to hope for. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no goodness in the sight, I guess. So then, yeah, it just it just sucks, bro. That's scary for the future. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'm just yapping, to be honest. So, if you guys disagree, agree, whatever, let me know in the comments. You know what I mean? If I say something like that could be offensive or something, I didn't mean to say it. I'm just a dumbass. So, yeah. Hope you guys all have a great day. Peace out.